Blessings and welcome everyone. Just a reminder before we begin. Your rising sign horoscope will give you additional clarity as to how a great deal of your sun sign horoscope may show up, and your moon sign horoscope will give you the less prominent side story that'll also be playing out for this 2-week period. Remember, horoscopes serve best when observed, like a weather or traffic report. You have influence over all outcomes with your thoughts, actions, choices, and deeds. Use the information that presents to help you make the highest choices for the highest outcomes. If you wish to schedule any of my services or like access to more content via my Patreon, follow the links below or go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. Hey there, Cancer. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to the week starting April 12th, 2021. And just a quick reminder for all of you Patreon people, the weekly bonus astrology report will be out here this weekend. So stay tuned for that. And remember, we are doing double readings, and so when it comes to double readings, you're getting 2 cards per section, so again, a little bit extra for everybody. So what are we going to talk about when it comes to the astrology that I want to talk about in this episode? Well, on Monday, we've got a new moon in Aries, which is your 10th house of career, upward mobility, and the legacy you want to leave, right? The mark you want to make upon the world, and anything to do with your growth in stature, forming a sextile to Mars, which is actually in your 12th house of your past, your privacy, and your hidden zone, any kind of hidden knowledge, old business. And a new moon always opens up a 2-week window for a new occurrence. And in your case, it's happening with your 10th house. And so we're seeing an opportunity opening up over this next 2 weeks for you to take on maybe a new position, a new role, a new bit of work, something that's going to really elevate your status. This could absolutely be something like a promotion, or maybe a new job or a lateral move that still has enough benefits and perks to still be a lateral move at an incline. But what this also does is that this actually helps you clear, address, and maybe even finalize a challenge or a battle that you've been fighting for a long time, or an old concern, an old matter that you have maybe had to contend with for some time, just as it might be old business that's been looming overhead, something as a shadow from the past, whether it's practical or financial affairs or something social. Really, that depends on what's going on in your personal life. Remember, these are general readings. I don't know you. But the thing is with the new moon sextile to Mars, this assistance that is coming through is actually helping to alleviate and get something off your back. As we get on to your cards, for your spiritual themes, you actually have the Empress upright and the 7 of Wands reversed. And with the Empress upright, once again, we are seeing this huge boost to everything in your atmosphere and in your environment, where everything is moving on up. Everything is becoming more fruitful, and we are seeing a new kind of sustained and prosperous longevity in all areas of your space. Because the Empress, the divine ascended feminine, demands opulence, demands stability, demands and commands and offers the fruits of all of these things to you. With the Empress card upright, you're going to be noticing that a lot of environments, both material and immaterial, are going through a bit of a shakedown, as well as, an upgrade. And so it could feel kind of weird in the beginning because, sometimes you have to be there for a little bit of dismantling. It might not necessarily feel so great to some folks who might be attached to old ways of doing things, even if they are disharmonious and discordant. But the Empress is actually increasing the worth, the value, and the give that everything in your environment, all environments that you occupy and frequent and call your own, are able to give to you. We also have, however, with the 7 of Wands reversed, a need to pay attention throughout this week to battles that, again, don't need to be fought anymore, and where energy could be applied in better places or to better ends. With the Seven of Wands reversed, I do feel that you may be in a position every once in a while, Cancerian people, to have to choose your battles. And of course, we all have free will. We are all divine sparks. But, it's important for us to be also divinely intentional and make sure, it's like we don't really have a lot of respect for deities and gods and goddesses that just can't choose their battles, right? The Seven of Wands reverse is indicating here, well, you might be kind of encountering situations and epiphanies this week where you find out some things are not necessarily worth the amount of energy it takes to change it. And that's okay. That's absolutely, true in some cases. And so you might be finding that you are stepping back, right, from situations that are more spectacle than actually, progress, that things that are more maybe showy or simply emotive than actually productive. And I think that's absolutely something that you're going to encounter, especially throughout your social wheelings and dealings. Now, with the Seven of Wands reversed, however, you've got to make sure that when you are choosing your battles, you understand that you might be tempted or even triggered into some things that are still not worth it. And being triggered still doesn't make something worth it. And so you want to make sure you don't let the buttons you have to push be on display. And even if they do get pushed, you don't let that be a way to sucker you in. As we get on to your material shifts when it comes to your work, your job, your finances, you have the Magician card upright and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. The Magician upright, everything seems to be going beautifully for you this week, especially when it comes to you actually stepping into a position or a project opportunity that is really actually going to take your personal status when it comes to your job and your career and give it a real boost. And when I say a boost, I'm talking about resources, profits, credibility, as well as just anything to do with you being able to improve and evolve your craft. So we are also seeing something that is boosting your skills artistically and vocationally as well. This could come, yes, in the form of a new role or position being proposed to you, but I'm also seeing with the Magician, this is also going to come with somebody who is kind of taking you under their wing and allowing you to also glean and aspect some of the, the rewards and skills and stature that they have achieved for themselves, in essence, bequeathing them to you and really setting you up for success. As we get on to the Nine of Pentacles reversed, however, I am seeing some of you are also going to probably be taking a bit of inventory of a lot of financial and professional pursuits you've got going on, or maybe mainstays that you've had going on that ultimately have shown to not be worth it themselves. Now, with the Nine of Pentacles reversed, you could be also needing to pay attention to things that you have been actually supporting or funding or working for or working towards that have actually been antithetical to your ambitions, antithetical to your desires, or maybe even your principles. You may be finding out that somebody you have been giving money to is not doing what you thought they would be doing with it. Or you may be finding out that a coworker, a client, or a customer is not actually ever going to turn their act around. And so it may be a time where you also put up some professional and financial boundaries, which may be absolutely necessary and crucial. As we get on to your communications, friends, relatives, and maybe other people in your life, you do have the Ten of Cups reversed and the Page of Wands reversed. And the Ten of Cups reversed is indicating that there is going to be, I think, a matter coming up here where we find out that a friend or a relative has been maybe posing, again, this idea of happiness or function or well-being that is simply not there. with them. Now, whether this has to do with themselves and they have been maybe trying to cover up something that's clearly dysfunctional and unhealthy, or they're covering up for somebody else, that depends. The Ten of Cups reversed, I do feel, is going to be a bit of a shock. I don't think that it indicates that anything needs to necessarily be punished or, well, I would hope not. But with the Ten of Cups reversed, we're going to be finding out about kind of a double life that somebody that we know has been living. And remember, we're talking about friends and family. So the guys, the girls, again, platonic relationships going on here. We may also be finding out about an illusion that they've been keeping up that does need to come out and be cleared. As we get on to the Page of Wands reversed, some of you may also be finding that you're taking leave of a social commitment or a regular social engagement that has kind of gone sour on you. This may already have gone sour. This might just be the time where you already decide you're just going to drop out, even though you've thought about doing it before. Or this may actually be just sort of the last straw that occurs this week. This could maybe not necessarily be with a group, but maybe an individual person, again, a friend that we become fed up with because he or she is still on their bullshit or won't work on it or take responsibility. Or this could be a situation where we are just kind of finding that it's not necessarily so intense, but it's pulling us off of our game. As we get on to your challenges this week, you do have the Strength card upright and the Knight of Pentacles upright. I love the gopher on the Knight of Pentacles. The Strength card upright as a challenge is, I think, a personal challenge. I think that because of so much focus and amplification of this energy of health and balance that is being commanded of all things you've got going on, the Strength card upright is indicating that this week you are going to have to also become, more of an enforcer and more of an active empowerer of that, function and health in your life. Maybe paying attention where you've kind of let things slide or maybe allowed for a door to be open to negativity. The Strength card is indicating that we can't necessarily keep playing around with that kind of stuff, especially since this week is kind of turning so many things around. We don't want to suddenly be like, hey, I'm so sorry. Is there an open seat? That was my alarm clock. Is there an open seat on this plane where I can keep my trash? Well, I don't think that's a good idea. The Strength card is indicating that if you take on this challenge, you are going to find that it's actually going to be easier to sustain. It's just the first couple of steps, in actually actually establishing this new status quo that you're going to have a challenge with. But once we get past steps 1 and 2, you're good to go. The Knight of Pentacles as a challenge here is indicating that you may also find that you are going to need to start paying attention to what is requiring you to give it more time and energy than you have allowed for it. There are a lot of things that are actually developing that require more than maybe a typical portion or something that would be considered typical for you. Making more time for your work, making more time for your career. This is going to be something that we want to make sure we, at least, even if only we can give ourselves an extra couple of hours a week with, it is going to make a big difference. As we get on to your relationships with love, romance, and partnerships, you actually have the Star card upright and the Three of Cups reversed. And I am seeing with the Star card upright, a lot of you Cancerian people are going to be finding that this week, a new chapter in love that is absolutely very, very promising is actually getting made known to you or is presenting for you and a partner, whether this is news coming through a partner or news coming to the both of you that is actually changing the status of your relationship, your household, or your marriage in a good way. Or something that is going on with somebody new coming into your life. For those of you that are available, The Star card is indicating that we're getting a little bit of this now, and we're going to get a lot more of this later if we can, of course, again, stay in alignment with it and give it a good place to call home. The Star card is also indicating that this has kind of a mini adventure feel to it that I think starts this week, but it certainly doesn't conclude this week. Now, with the Three of Cups reversed, however, I am seeing that, yes, we are still having to deal with more social life bleh going on with the Three of Cups reversed. And some of you may need to pay attention to where friends of yours, and I'm seeing yours, Cancerian people, I don't see this as like the partner or anything like that. There may be something going on with friends of yours that you are starting to understand may be actually contributing to an uncomfortable energy or uncomfortable atmosphere as it relates to your love, your pursuit of love, your psychology around love and romance, or maybe even not necessarily being very good to your partner. And whoever this person, maybe it's that Page of Wands reverse person that we're already kicking to the curb, but there is something that's going to have to be addressed here. So that is what I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.